The last video. So the 3 units we're going to cover: crime and law, Scottish politics, and world politics. So we're focused on, which I'm pretty chuffed about, the USA. Now, National 4, you're also going to do an added value unit, and National 5, you're going to have an assignment, which we'll go into more detail as we move forward. So your knowledge questions, like I said before, there's 3 in each section. They could be anywhere from 4 to 8 marks. And 4 mark, which means you get 2 PEs, or 2 PEEs, a 6 mark, which would be 2 really well structured PEEs, or an 8 marker, which would be 3 really well structured PEEs, going over the 3 units. So inquiry skills, support oppose, these are 10 mark questions each, and basically they go through the different things. They supply you with resources that you need to answer your questions, and you move forward. We'll talk about the skills that you need for each one of those. Now, I want you, it's not really a higher or lower, I want you to have a wee guess as we go through. I just want you to try and write down the year or the age that you can be for these things. It's not really higher or lower, I just want you to take a stab at what the year is. So get a piece of paper, just a scratch piece of paper. It's not anything I'm going to be asking for, so just go through and we're going to walk through the PowerPoint really quickly. So age that you can buy alcohol, what do you think it is? Write it down quickly. If you wrote 18, you're spot on. Age that you can learn to drive. Let's see if you're higher or lower on what you wrote down. Right, so if you wrote 17, you're good. You may have been higher, you may have been lower. It was 16 when I got to start learning to drive when I was 15, but America's a bit different. I also got into my first car crash when I was 16, so maybe we got something figured out right here. Right, age that you can buy cigarettes. What do you think it is? If you wrote 18, you're spot on, ready to go. Now the age that you can get a Saturday job. This is where it gets a little bit more complicated. So we look at it, and if you wrote 13, you're good. You may have been higher, may have been lower. You may know exactly where you're at. All right, age of criminal responsibility. At what age can you be held accountable for a crime? So write down that number really quick, or come up with a number in your head. And if you wrote 12, you're spot on. You may have been higher, you may have been lower. Age that you can buy fireworks. This is really exciting. Coming into July in a couple of months. Nobody really cares about 4th of July here, but I still do. I'll be the only one in Moffat shooting fireworks off. And people are just going to be trying to figure out what's going on. But that age, luckily I'm old enough, is 18. Age that you can buy a lottery ticket. I'm still determined to hit it big, get the big one, make loads of money. I'll still come and teach you guys. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry about me. You know, I'll get bored if I just have millions. But that is 16. Unfortunately, I'm now double that at least. So I'm getting old, not dealing well with that. All right, age it becomes your responsibility to wear a seatbelt. So this could be like if you're old enough, then like if my kids aren't wearing a seatbelt, that's on me. At what age does it become your responsibility as a person to wear your own seatbelt, where you can be held accountable instead of the person driving? If you wrote 14, you'd be right. So it's no longer necessarily on the people driving for you guys, whether or not you can actually get a ticket now yourself. Age men are legally entitled to pension. That is 65 is when you can get a pension. And an age a woman is entitled to a pension between 60 and 65. So it's a little bit different there. Now, like I said, we've talked about this before. So you got the types of crime. This is what we're going to be doing. It's a bit out of order there. What we're going to be doing this unit. Nature and extent of crime, which is what this week's booklet is. The causes of crime. The impact of crime. Efforts to tackle crime. What are the police? What are the courts doing? What's the government doing? Court system in Scotland, how is it structured? And sentencing, the different types of sentencing and how it all goes through. So what I want you guys, Scottish juvenile system as well. Alright, so what I want you guys to do, you have the nature and extent of crime booklet that's put onto your on Teams, on the school tile. It's all the same stuff that goes through, guys, so don't get confused if you see something on the school tile. It's the same exact thing. That's where I'm pulling it from. Or, well, Me and the other modern studies teachers are creating stuff, and we're just giving it all to you. We're all across the board giving out the same stuff. Okay, so get those booklets done. I'll have a quick walkthrough of what kind of that looks like and stuff like that here in this video. So if you go here, here is the booklet that you guys are doing. So it's crime and law, and it's unit 1, so you have 1 week to do this. So I'd really like to get this back from you on Friday. So your task 1, just match those up. Task 2, answer the questions below. So these questions should be coming from you. I don't want to see things that are copied and pasted from the internet. I want to see you guys taking stuff. It'd be really hard to answer these questions copying and paste from the internet, but what do you think crime is? Who decides what a crime is? Or what is a crime? Can what is and isn't a crime change over time? So can things get developed over time? I want to see stuff coming from you. Here are the categories of crime in Scotland. So when you look at it, split into 5 categories, and those are them. So non-sexual crime, crimes of violence, sexual offences, crimes of dishonesty, fire raising, vandalism, and other. So you need to match them up there. Okay, pretty straightforward. Match them up. Task 4. What is the correct categories when you look at those? I don't want to give you any hints, but basically you're just writing one of those 5 at the top here in these boxes. Okay. Knowledge questions. Now this is where things I really want to take a moment to sort of focus on. All right. You would have talked about this a bit in S3, but you really need to be able to, one of the skills, the most important skill that you can learn is how to do a PEE. Now a PEE stands for point, explain, example. So a PEE is worth 2 marks. So basically, on a 4-mark question you would do 2 of these. All right, so the point is to start with the question and give one basic answer. One reason is, just name it. That's a mark. All right, explain. This means that. Okay. So this means that, and then the last thing you're going to do is give an example. So for an example, I'm just going to look at something random through here. One example of a crime of dishonesty is, list it. It could be fraud, it could be all sorts of other things. So, and then fraud is this. An example of fraud is this. That would be a PEE. All right, so you need to do 3 sentences for a PEE. Okay, so here is a 4-mark question that I'm looking for you guys to do, and that is, you need to write 2 PEE paragraphs. So you got a wee sentence starter there, and the question is, describe in detail the categories of crime in Scotland. So you need to choose 2 categories of crime, say what it involves, and give an example. So you should be able to do that from what's there. Alright, there's a sentence structure for you to write it in. Then we're going to talk about blue collar and white collar crimes. I'm leaving this to you guys to kind of walk your way through what a white collar crime is, what a blue collar crime is. Alright, and prevalence of crime recorded each year. So how often is crime? So look at the figures and different things. So we're looking at crimes committed from 17 to 18. And then task 7, there's 8 tasks. Organize the information below. And then you're going to come up with a conclusion. This is building into the skills of what you need to do whenever we're doing our skills questions. One of those skills questions, those 10 markers, is kind of like this. This is a bit more structured, where we're kind of hand it to you and you need to plug it into the structure. And then as you look at that information, you go to task 8, and that's where you basically have some stuff to do. Okay? Right. So using the conclusions that you made by looking at those facts above, you need to look at you need to identify 3 facts which show that crime is a problem. So what shows that crime is a problem? So you get 3 things that show that crime is a problem, and 3 things that show that crime isn't a problem. Alright, so and then here are some questions that you may get on the nature and extent of crime. Right, so once you get all that done, you're good to go. So you can fill it out on here, do a Word document. Once again, all these answers need to be coming from you. all right, which I know you guys are quite good at. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to business, getting to working, and like I said, you're going to get one of these a week until the end. So I think we've got about 6 or 7 weeks until summer. All right, so any questions at all, get in touch with me, and we'll see if, or use the group chat if it's something that fits for everyone. A general question, you can use the group chat on Teams, and get in touch with me. All right, okay.